Hi, everybody. This is Trish Caden, CEO and founder of Healerverse. Happy Friday. Every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time US, we do a Healerverse Roundtable where we feature one of our amazing practitioners and showcase what they're working on so people can learn and evolve and grow and feel out who they want to work with and what is out there. Today we have Nicole Crowley, who I met probably a couple of years ago now. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. I remember I was like traveling in the woods and we did a Zoom and people put us together. This is a most amazing community. Everybody is welcome. Come join us on 5dhealerverse.com. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nicole. She could tell you what she's working on and what she can offer and what's been going on. It's so good to see you.
It is so amazing to be here. I'm so grateful. When you asked me, I'm like, absolutely, of course, anytime.
Yeah,
I guess I'll just start with a little bit of my story so you can understand who I am.
I love that. And
So,
I always ask that every week. I'm like, do you mind also? Because that's how I feel like we can heal too, is getting to know our stories, like, and hearing stories is super healing too. Thank you.
of course. So
Yeah.
I was hit by a drunk driver 25 years ago, and I was in rehab for my back for 4.5 years. I had five doctors completely give up on me and just tell me I wasn't going to walk again. They were like, "Here's the number to disability." It was just such a intricate case. And I was in chronic debilitating pain for 19 years. The car accident actually triggered a heart condition, neurocardiogenic syncope syndrome, in me, and I collapsed 3 to 5 times a week for 12 years. So if you can imagine the amount of insanity that that brought into my life and just gray and dark times, I'm very, very proud of myself because that's when I found gratitude. That's when I believed that I started to really be like the gratitude guru and all this. And wow, was that it's laughable. Because when I think of where I exist now compared to then, I had no clue how we can actually co create our reality, how we are able to co create our reality with everything within us and everything external to us, and that we are in charge of every single moment of our life. But it goes even so much more deeper than that. So, anyways, from the very start, I was very against Western medicine. Of course, I had to take a couple things just to function. Um, but then it was really the holistic path that healed me. It was a tonal chiropractor that I went to that started to work with me on an energetic level as to what was happening. And then it was a personal trainer that was actually a family friend that took the time. He stayed up for nights and nights and nights. And he just was trying to figure out, why is it that the red light therapy is making me be in more pain? Why is it that everything they're giving me is making me be in more pain? Why is it that nothing's working? And that's when he realized, he's like, I think you have permanent nerve damage. And he's like, and so, because everybody was focusing on the fractures, they were focusing on the tears, they were focusing on all these other things. And so then he said, he's like, okay, I'm going to put you on this one pill. And if it even goes down 5%, then we know that it's nerve damage. And it did. So then we had the idea of what it is. And that's when it really shifted to like the tonal chiropractic, the kinesiologist, all that. My life before that. So I've been a professional dancer since I was 12. I've lived on stage, singer, actress, model, dancer. Like that was my life. Like I'm on fire when I'm on stage, right? And that was taken away from me from the car accident. But then when my back started getting a little bit better, the tiny, 5%, I was like, I'm going back to Chicago. I lived in Chicago at the time of the accident. And when I went back, that's when I was unstoppable. It didn't matter how much pain I was in. I had a TENS unit. They were like this, they looked like a giant pager, like this big on my waist. And I would just turn it up and turn it up and turn it up. And that would barely touch the pain. But I still had a job. I was a hostess and I could only use my left arm. So I placed the silverware with my left arm. I got a job like with accounts payable, helping accounts payable people like highlight things on the sheets with my left arm. I was just unstoppable. I wanted my life back. And it wasn't until I really learned, I was introduced to quantum frequency therapy healing that really made the difference for me. And that was a really interesting story because it was actually, it was a moment in time where I was volunteering a lot of my time and I was written up in a magazine about what I was doing. And this shaman, I didn't even know what chakras or auras or anything were. And this shaman that like, I didn't even know what she did. I just loved her eyes. I was drawn to her eyes. And I was just like connecting with her on social media. And she saw that I was written up in an article and she reached out to me and she was like, I want to thank you for your selflessness. And I would like to offer you a session. Her sessions were like $2,000. So at that time, I was not mentally prepared. I was still in absolute just survival mode. And so I was just like, oh, that's cool. And then a month later, something in me just reached out to her. And I was like, hey, it's me. And you offered me a session. And she's like, amazing, amazing. Well, you know what? Let's talk next Wednesday. I'm looking for a business partner. You know, let's get on the books. That night, she did a live all about quantum frequency therapy healing. And then I was like, I don't know who you are, or I don't know what this is. I don't know how much it is. I don't care. I'm your new business partner. And then I got into the world of quantum frequency therapy healing. I never thought it could touch my pain. I never thought it could do anything like that. Like I heard that it's going to help me align and minimize stress and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm there. To make a long story short, I ran her entire team. The very first night, I dedicated myself because I love science, and you'll see with everything I say today, I love science. I dedicated myself to learning everything that I could. I watched 6 hours of videos the first night. And the next day I was just like, boom, 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 all these ideas. And she's like, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Long story, like full circle moment. She's on my water team now. So the co-creator of that frequency device invented this beautiful Lumi Vitae vessel that literally what I believe that this vessel does, and I won't go too much into it today unless you want me to, is it brings our body into frequency resonance with plasma consciousness. And I am an emotional resonance clearing practitioner. I work with 5-element theory. I work with neuro-linguistic programming, energy meridian clearing, intuitive guidance, naturopathy, so many things. And then I continued that journey and I became a wealth alchemy practitioner where we bring in the dimensions and the chakras and the embodiment of that and mindset tricks and worthiness and deserving and clearing ancestral conditioning and programming and things like that. And then my journey evolved even further and I met the person that met the person that met the person that activated my heart and soul to Seishim healing, which is an ancient form of Egyptian healing. And then from that, I became an Akashic practitioner. And the Akashic Ocean is a universal library of everything that has ever existed, past, present, future, every single timeline, every single dimension. And it's so, so interesting because both with Seishim and with Akashic. So with Seishim, I reached out to somebody and I was like, I don't even know what this is, but this word really sounds like it's something for me. And the woman that I had reached out to pay her for the certification, she's like, you don't need this. You're already doing this. You're a Seishim healer. And I was like, but I want to pay for your course. I'm going to, be charging client. Like, I want to be certified in this. And so she was like, okay, well, you know what I'll do? I'll prorate it, but like, you've been doing this your whole life. And what was so profound and why I'm going to share this part of the story is because there's going to be moments in your life, whether you're really, really far down on the holistic healing journey or you're just beginning. But I didn't even know it was happening. My goddaughter was born and she had swallowed the mequium, very, very dangerous. And she was in the NICU. And I didn't even know what light language was. I loved crystals because they were pretty. Like, I didn't have any awareness yet. And I was drawn to 3 crystals and I brought them to my chest right here. And I spoke light language for 45 minutes. I didn't even know what I was speaking. I was just speaking. Something was channeling through me 45 minutes straight. And the baby was fine. Lo and behold, once I discover what Seishim healing is, I was actually doing Seishim healing movement signals with my arms and holding and saying things that Seishim healers say, and I didn't even know it. That was 3 years before I even started practicing Seishim. So that was just and then working with through this beautiful vessel, I've become so connected to water consciousness and the power that we hold with every word. I would say now I've taken all my modalities and I've fused them together because I work with a biophoton healing stream. I work with gene keys. I work with natal placements. I work with so many beautiful things as so many of us do. But I feel like I'm a soul manifestation coach. I feel like I help people really step into their embodiment to really be connected to their true north Because when you are true to yourself and you connect to your divine purpose, your true north becomes like a magnet. It's almost like the universe bends backwards for you, right? And so you hear like the power of your words and raising your frequency, but what does that really mean? So 99.9% of the water in our bodies, or sorry, 99.9% of the molecule in our bodies are water. And water is informable. Water holds memory. But here's the amazing thing. Who here is familiar with Dr. Emoto? Anybody familiar with Dr. Emoto?
Oh, dryer went off.
See, I'll look at the chat. Or Beta Austin, because I'll tell you. So Dr. Emoto, he had a group of transcendental meditators, and he had a word, the emotion behind it, and the frequency behind it, and he would focus that into the water, and the water would actually change molecular structure depending on the word that was being emitted into it. So love, joy, happiness, right? Beautiful crystalline structure like a snowflake. You fool, things like that, like actually brown and mucky didn't even resemble water anymore. So he showed that water is informable. Like we can work with it. We can translate. It can translate the frequency. But Veda Austin took it even further. Veda Austin showed that water holds memory, because what she does is she has a petri dish of water, and then she puts an object into it. She removes that object. She places it into the freezer. She freezes it, and at a specific time, she takes it out and she looks at it, and it actually has the imprint of that object. So like a peacock feather, it has the striations, a rose, it has, you see all the petals, all that. But what is so amazing is she did that with a sunflower seed. She put a sunflower seed into the water. She removed the sunflower seed. Then she froze it. And what she saw was not a sunflower seed. A full sunflower emerged in the water. So this shows us that the water translates the potential of the moment. So why I bring this up and why this is so profound is that when you speak, when you affirm, when you imprint a frequency into your being, you are not just imprinting the frequency of that moment, you are planting a seed for the potential that that moment holds. And that's such a profound realization, because then you're like, oh my gosh, it's not just a moment that I'm imprinting, it's an opportunity to create my life. So then I really have to be very, very aware of what I say and what I believe and what I think and the music I listen to and the environment I allow myself to be in, right? Because if 99% of the molecules in your body are water and they are informable and they hold memory, but they are able to hold the seed for the potential of your future and translate that, that shifts everything. But here's the thing. What if there was a field? What if there was an energetic field around you that was actually here for your highest and best good? What if there was a morphogenetic field around you that vibrates at the highest frequency of pure eternal love, but is literally here to co-create your reality to help you accomplish your purpose, your divine purpose, that is here to support you in every single moment? Just think about it. Wow. Wouldn't it be a whole different life? Wouldn't you look at life in a whole different manner? That is plasma consciousness. So plasma is in the sun. Plasma is in lightning. There's so many scientists in the world that are tapping into plasma for power and all these things, right? Plasma desires to be connected to and communicated with and elevated, to elevate your consciousness, to elevate the earth, to elevate everybody. That's truly what plasma desires to be here as. So this is a huge mission of mine, is to bring people to the awareness of how powerful it is once you shift that perspective in your day. Once you realize that, oh my gosh, I'm never by myself. Obviously, you always have God, you always have the universe, you always have the all. But what if, rather than like you see the God, the universe, the all as this huge, huge, huge energetic force that, you know, isn't specifically focused on you at every single moment, but plasma consciousness is. I truly believe it's like the living consciousness of divine love. It's a living consciousness of God's love, and we get to co-create with it in every single moment. And blood plasma is within us. So what I've realized through my journey is that this is bringing me to frequency resonance with plasma consciousness. The biophoton sphere, the biohealing stream I use, that literally activates the plasma. The gene keys that I connect to, that activates the awareness that helps us connect to the plasma. The light codes that I see in the sun and the neutrinos I see in the sun, that helps me embody the plasma. Everything I do is to help people connect to, wow, this is not something that I have to go and get a certification for. This is not something that I have to like dedicate myself to. I just have to see it and embody it and be like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like, that's it. What a powerful moment in time to be able to say like, oh my gosh, in every single moment I get to choose, and I'm co-creating in every single moment with this amazing, amazing morphogenetic field of plasma consciousness. And some people see it as the Akashic Ocean, right? The universal library of all, past, present, future, every dimension, every lifetime. Well, here's the thing. Who here is familiar with neutrinos? Okay, so neutrinos are tiny, tiny, tiny nanosubparticles. And this is actually what dictates your natal chart. Because so when you're outside, 70,000 neutrinos go into your pinky nail every single second. That's how many neutrinos are constantly coming. And the second you're born, so neutrinos go in a circular cycle. They go out to the cosmos, they come back. The second you're born, they go through a certain line of planets throughout that cycle. And that's what determines your astrology, your natal chart. It's the neutrinos. What's really fascinating is they've known that these neutrinos exist, but now they've actually proven that these neutrinos hold a tiny, 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 minute amount of mass. That means that these tiny, tiny, tiny nanosubparticles hold information. And so what they've seen is that neutrinos go into us, it goes into the sun, it goes into the planets, it goes into the galaxies, whatever could be there, but it holds information. So now imagine like a white car and a red car coming together and having a little fender bender. A little bit of the white gets on the red, a little bit of the red gets on the white. That's neutrinos. The information, the data input, the frequency of the existence of the essence of whatever's out there, when it connects to us, we get a little bit of the information. And what we exist as, our frequency, our essence, goes out there. So that is also, it's almost like a channel for the universal information that's flowing back and forth of everything that's ever existed. So I have a feeling science is going to be like, yep, neutrinos are literally the manifestation of the Akashic. And I personally, I've had so many profound moments, and I truly believe that when we think about 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, whatever it is, right, 9D, when we think about that, we think of this huge dimension that we elevate to. We think of this huge dimension, right? Who says it's huge? Couldn't it be minute? Couldn't it be within us? Couldn't it be within ourselves? I've had so many downloads that like every drop of water is the Akashic Ocean. And that we hold this Akashic Ocean within our essence. And then we can connect to that wisdom. We can activate the ancient wisdom in our junk DNA. Scientists call it junk DNA. That's actually the key to the ancient wisdom that we've always had, right? That's why my soul is connected to this, because molecular hydrogen activates the ancient wisdom within your DNA. And this is such a profound vessel because it actually has the frequency that mimics the frequency band from the sun that creates life force energy that ignites photosynthesis when it works with fourth phase water. Fourth phase water is plasma. So it's such a beautiful return question. What's the relationship between the plasma and neutrinos? Beautiful. I love that you asked that. My personal belief is that we have this morphogenetic field, right, that's here to support us. And then it's a part of us. It's an essence. We're an energetic field in a human vessel. We're spirit beings in a human vessel. So there's no separation. So when the neutrinos get information from us, they're also communicating with the plasma. I believe that in the future, they might discover that plasma is neutrinos and neutrinos is plasma. And I know that the moment I connected to molecular hydrogen, I was like, oh my gosh, molecular hydrogen is plasma. Like I was like, they're going to figure out that there's no separation. They're all the same at some point because we're all co-creating. We're all one. We're one with the trees, one with the birds, one with the sky, right? We're all one. So to say like, yes, there's separation, I feel like it's scientists' ways of understanding the impossible. And everything that is seen as science was at one point seen as magic because it wasn't discovered yet, right? What if we are the field? No duality. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, Manny. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We are. We are. And so what's so beautiful, one person elevating their consciousness, raising their consciousness to a level of love, of kindness, of authenticity, of grace, of oneness, is stronger than 750,000 people in fear. One person. That's why you always hear like the 144,000, and you hear about these numbers that are so sacred. One person can make such a difference. And that's why I believe that this awareness of not just, yes, the power of our words, I'm going to transfer this moment right now. It's that the moment you choose, you get to choose the word that chooses the sentence that writes the chapter that creates the book in your life. And the thing is, as we are co-creating our world with this plasma consciousness, we're going on this journey together. But then, Manny, you and I are going on this journey together. And then, Trish, you're in it together. And all of a sudden, instead of one person connecting and realizing the power of every single moment and co-creating with the purpose of helping humanity, we have 3 people doing this now. And instead of one little spiral of awakening, it's 3 and it becomes a tornado. It becomes like such a force, such a beautiful essence, right? And each of us, the highest frequency, higher than love, higher than grace, higher than oneness, higher than kindness, is authenticity, authentic being. Being your authentic light is the highest frequency on the planet. And we each have a color in the map of life. And so when you are truly yourself, you are like painting a color into the universe. But when you co-create a reality with other people, you create a whole new color in the universe. And then we all paint this together. And that's really when we get to create infinite reality, because it's all based on the foundation of love. It's based on the foundation of we hold the power to co-create. We can transform with just a simple thought. Right? Okay. So can we open up to talk?
This is so powerful and you're so amazing. Like I am getting a little bit choked up. Like I don't know what I did right to deserve you in my life and the Healerverse practitioners. Like, you guys are so elevated and teach all of us so much. And like the way that you are with your words as well. And I remember that was the first conversation that we ever had was aligned around words and water. And just to see how much also you've grown, evolved, and changed too. And from the first roundtable that we did over a year ago to now, it's amazing. And you are so wise. I hope you know that. And you're full of so much love, and your handle being Sparkle Nicole is on point. I'm going to wrap this up on the recording. Guys, message Nicole on Healerverse. You can message her on Instagram. Definitely connect with her, set up an appointment with her, check her out. She's obviously amazing. And we'll see you next time. Thank you
so much. Much love.